So Blizzard are releasing a JAINA Proudmoore statue, which clocks in at 315 UK pounds. So just imagine what that translates to your country. And I'm going to determine in this video whether or not I think it's value for money. Why? Because I want to tear Blizzard down to the ground. Okay, I think T&E have run off now to make their video. He's at it again! He's at it again! But for you who've stuck around, no, it's because I collect models. I collect models, and I actually really like JAINA Proudmoore. I think she's a great character who's been underrepresented in recent times. And I really enjoyed the storyline between her and her mother at the beginning of BFA. It's pretty much the only storyline in BFA that I have. But there are some decent bits here and there. So I want to know from somebody who collects huge statues from Sideshow Collectibles all the way through to, well, little Xenons from Sword Art Online, or even knitted Batman from my mum. I requested that she do this for me for Christmas, and she did, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. I want to know if it's something that I would personally like to add to my collection. So let's see whether or not this JAINA Proudmoore statue is indeed value for money. Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. So, is this JAINA Proudmoore model worth it? A bit like L'Oreal. Well, here we are. This is the Blizzard store right here, and it's due to be released in Q3 of this year. And it clocks in 315 UK pounds. So, first things first, how big is the model? Well, the model comes in at 18 inches. That's what it roughly works out to be from base to tip. Ladies. From base to tip, 18 inches. So that's pretty dang big. That is a pretty dang big model. But more importantly, what does it look like? What are its details like? Does it look like it's well painted? Does it look like it's been well sculpted? Well, let's have a look, shall we? So there are some nice little glory shots of the model itself, as you would obviously expect. So we can see the back of Jaina's cloak here. She stood on a rock, and then surrounding her looks like seawater, which has been frozen, most likely by Jaina herself. Now, the frozen water looks awesome. You have this almost foam-esque tip to it, and then you got a kind of like the greenish sea, daughter of the sea, of course. And then she's stood on this rock, and you can see details of some algae, some moss, which is really nice to see. You know, those details matter. Details do matter on models, very much so. The boots, very nicely painted, from the little buckles that go around the laces through to the actual soles itself, the heels, and the actual proper leather, the full leather of the boot. And then her back cloak with the gold trim. You can see the detail here on the trim. These runes, which seem to be carved into the side of the cloak. And again, you can tell this is hand-painted, and it's hand-painted to a high quality. So all of that looking very nice indeed. Some shoulder details now up close here. Again, beautifully painted. That, hasn't gone over. It's very important with hand-painted models that they don't go over the lines, that it doesn't look like it's been slipshod put together. You've got the battle scarring on the shoulder pads as well. Up here, little dinks, This is good stuff. And little chainmail. Look at the chainmail over there. And they've got good shading on it as well. Being a Warhammer painter, that's, nice. We'll get to that. And then you can see her pendant in the background as well, which looks great. And then let's jump to another one. Side view here. Lovely, leather looking pouch that she's got on the side. You can see the gauntlet as well, which is beautifully painted, and some of the staff as well. But I really like this. Great, darker leather for the strap, lighter leather for the pouch itself, and then the gold buckle really pops. And then around here again, contrasting leathers, and then the buckle which holds them together. And then you can just see the bodice over there, and a little bit more detail of her cloak. Some detail of the staff tip, ladies. And again, the shooting foam from the sea, which is either being frozen or is just in an animated fashion. But it looks great. It looks very dynamic. And then the bodice. I don't think this is the most flattering of pictures, if I'm totally honest. When it comes to the bodice, it does look a little bit one note. Not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. But it just does look a little bit one note. It would have maybe been nice to see maybe a slightly different colour coming in, or at least some sort of darker shading coming in for maybe the recesses. But other than that, okay, you know, I'm pretty content with all of that. So detail-wise, this looks well constructed. It looks well put together. So let's just compare it to some other models which are on the market. Look at their sizes, look at their price points, and look at their details, and see how they compare to this model. So let's start off with this bad boy up here. Now, this is a model from the Warhammer 40k range, and this is a great unclean one. And this clocks in at £80 here in the UK. And from base to tip, ladies, I'm going to say that all the time. From base to tip, it comes in at 6 inches. Okay, and that's from the base to the tip of the sword here. So the JAINA model is 3 times the size of this great unclean one. Coming in at £80. Well painted. I'm joking. Right, but this actually comes on sprues. And it's just grey plastic. That's all it is, just grey plastic. You yourself have to put it together. You've got to glue it together. And you yourself have to paint it. So I've actually painted this. This is something I have painted and really enjoyed painting. And this great unclean one I've called Cristiano. And the skull on the front, that is Stefan. And this has been named after 2 of my German followers. So shout out to those 2 boys. Cristiano actually tipped to have this brought and painted up in his honour. So I hope I've done him proud with that one. But with the Warhammer stuff, you yourself are the one who either makes or breaks the model, depending on your paintwork and how good or bad your paintwork may be. So something like this for £80 when it's all painted up, and I think I've done a pretty decent job, I think looks really, really cool, and of course is used in the Warhammer 40k board game. Not board game, you know what I meant, just Warhammer 40k game. Okay, so next, let's have a look at this little chappy. When I say little chappy, this actually comes in at 12.5 inches. So this is only 5.5 inches smaller than the JAINA model. It's got, you know, obviously plastic elements, but a lot of this is fabric. The cloak is fabric. The costume is fabric. This, to me, is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous with the poses that you can do. Because this is actually a fully posable Batman. Comes with a base, changeable hands for different situations, batarangs, and also changeable head. You can actually take the head off and put a Bruce Wayne. But with this cloak, you can get some absolutely classic Batman poses like that, where he's got half of the cloak off and he's got half the cloak on, and then you can just, you know, flick it over the shoulders again to show off all of the costume. And then if you want to go brooding Dark Knight, of course, it can all come across the front and you get this fantastic look, as you can just see a little bit of the actual Batman motif coming through. Highly posable, beautifully painted, highly detailed, with the material element of it being of such a high quality. Great looking belt. This chest is just unbelievably good with the bat symbol. This clocks in at 200 UK pounds. So I think this is value for money. Smaller than the JAINA, posable though, and with changeable parts. But I think that is absolutely value for money. It's actually on sale at Sideshow if somebody wants to pick one up right now. But yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, I'm pretty sure that nobody's going to care that I take a back seat to Batman here. This is my pride and joy, or one of my pride and joys. I've got a polyresin Geralt of Rivia too. But this Batman stands at 21 inches. 3 inches taller than the JAINA, is a polyresin build, and this is a posed figure, but it does have a cloak which has got metal joints, so you can pose the cloak exactly how you like. Interchangeable hands, so you can change out the batarang to put in some normal hands. And if I just lift it up slightly, just look at the detail on this. This is just absolutely outstanding. And this is kind of like Jaina. It's got a nice base, Amadeus Arkham's gravestone there for it to be on. And this is just a thing of utter beauty. And how much does this cost? Well, this cost me £460. That's not a flex, people. It's just something that, you know, I truly wanted in my collection. And I need to compare it to the costing for Jaina. But £460. It also cost import fees of approximately £35. And it also cost transportation fee from the US, which came in at about £70 to £80. So all in all, it cost over £500, around about £550, £560 to get to me. The Jaina Proudmoore comes in at £7.15 for delivery. And it looks like they have UK stock, or at least European stock, so there's going to be no import fees on top of that. So you can have it delivered for about £320 to £330. So it doesn't look like there's import fees to worry about, and the delivery cost is really, really low. But my God, having one of these in your collection is just beautiful. So if I compare it to other models in my collection, if I compare it to my Figma figures, which are small figures like that, they come in at like £60 a piece, etc. And then the Kai Arts figures, which come in slightly bigger, but nowhere near as detailed, particularly like facially, etc., as sculpted models like this. And then they can range between £80 to say £110. Is the price point for the Jaina Proudmoore model decent at £315? I would say yes. I know it's a lot of money. I'm not disputing that it's a lot of money. But if you look comparatively at what is at the marketplace right now, whether it be plastic or polyresin or a mixture of plastic and fabric or whatever it may be, it does actually come in competitively. And, you know, even if I was to say it may be slightly too much, I would only probably put it to a price point of around £300, £299.99, something like that. So, you know, we're talking just a few quid here or there. So it's coming in at the right price in terms of quality versus size, etc. Will I be adding one of these to my collection? No. So why won't I be adding this Jaina Proudmoore to my collection? The one image that I didn't show was this one. You got a glimpse of it at the beginning of the video though, and this is Jaina's face. Now you may say this is being nitpicky, but when you're collecting statues, you really want a good representation of what you're purchasing. And if you're going to spend £315, then you want an exceptional representation of whatever you're purchasing. And unfortunately, the only thing to me that lets this model down, because everything else looks great, the painting looks absolutely great, the detail looks fantastic, and I do think it hits the right price point. But it's the face. Butterface. Jaina's got a butterface. This doesn't look like Jaina Proudmoore. And this actually comes with a video of Jaina from the World of Warcraft in cinematic form. And they haven't really captured that essence, I don't think. So you may say, well, come on, maybe you're being a bit too unfair. Not so much, because let's have a quick look at the Lady Sylvanas model, which again is the same price as Jaina. What's the saying? A painting or a picture can say 1,000 words and all of that. Look at this. This is the Sylvanas model, and it looks outstanding. That is the Banshee Queen. Absolutely nailed on in. That is the Banshee Queen. Looking so representative of how she appears in the actual World of Warcraft game itself. You cannot deny that at all. And if I just scroll down, coming in at the same size, obviously the same price point, and just look at some of the details on this model. They are immaculate. It is. And there we go. Just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Beautifully painted, beautifully crafted. The level of detail on some of this is just phenomenal. But that face, the face has been nailed down perfectly. And unfortunately, JAINA Proudmoore's hasn't. It doesn't look. It just looks like somebody dressed up as JAINA. There's nothing in that face that I could see that said to me, oh, wow, that's JAINA Proudmoore. Whereas this, no hesitation adding this to my collection. It's absolutely spot on. So I think everything is right about the JAINA Proudmoore model, apart from the face. And that is why I can't add it to the collection. I think it comes in at the right price. I think it comes in at the right quality. But I can't do it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed the vid. I know it's something completely different, but, you know, why not just switch things up? If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links there in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.